Rhinoceroses are essentially solitary animals, but when the males reach sexual maturity at 10 years of age, they fight even the females when they meet. During these rare encounters, even the elephants prefer to leave them to it. Scenes like this represent like few others the essence of the wild paradise of this part of the world. Contrary to popular belief, they do not use their famous horn as a weapon, but rather bite at their rival. The loser will move off to try his luck elsewhere. Another of the paradoxes of the ancient unicorn is that its horn is not the part of its body the Nepalese most appreciate. They come to the dung heaps in search of what they swear is an infallible remedy for coughs. When you get home, nothing better than making yourself comfortable and enjoying one of the most highly prized products of the land. All you have to do is to spread out a piece of paper and sprinkle a little rhino dung on it. With care and patience, you achieve just the right texture to mix it with tobacco according to taste. An exquisite cigarette containing the most select feces in the region. For them, the enormous piles of dung are a plentiful supply of the ingredients for the finest tobacco. Without a doubt, an exclusive luxury that only a few can enjoy. The taste of a legend would surely be a fitting advertising slogan. Oblivious of man's obsession with his feces, the Indian rhinoceros has changed very little in the last million years. As they are basically unsociable, the typical group of rhinoceroses is this, a female with her child. A vegetarian diet is lacking in a number of nutrients, which the rhinoceroses have to obtain from other sources. In certain places in the jungle, the soil is rich in mineral salts and trace elements, and so the mothers take their children there from when they are very young. They memorize the location, and so the knowledge of these secret places is passed down from one generation of rhinos to the next. They literally eat the soil. The little one will not forget the lesson. No one in the jungle would dare disturb a female rhinoceros with her young. Their ferocity and courage are almost as legendary as their horns. But rhinoceroses like to spend many hours in places also much appreciated by man. For the rhinoceros, as for many other species of animal in this part of the world, water means a cool retreat and a place to find food. In the river valleys and in all the low regions which are periodically flooded, these swamps are formed, covering immense areas along the banks of the Brahmaputra and the Ganges. Rhinoceroses are perfectly content, half submerged in their very own vegetable soup, from which they eat while placing virtually no stress on their backbone, which most of the time has to carry the enormous weight of the animal. This tendency for very heavy mammals to submerge themselves in water and so compensate for their weight was precisely what led some of them to return to the sea many millions of years ago, giving rise to the cetaceans. What cannot be denied is that rhinoceroses swim well and with evident satisfaction. As they constantly move in and out of the water, these giants open up the vegetation, stirring up the mud at the banks. In this way, they keep the water surfaces clear, preventing the plants from covering them entirely. Without rhinoceroses and elephants, there would be much less open, available water, and the number of bird species in the region would be considerably reduced. Beaks. Some very still, others in constant movement. The soup, which is vegetable for the rhinoceros, becomes fish soup for the majority of the birds, such as this Asian stork. Or this heron, which prefers more decisive movements. Long legs and eyes looking down into the pool. Here, each one makes use of what evolution has equipped them with to catch prey of different sizes. This male Asian jabiru is also a type of stork, and like all others in the family, is not adverse to scavenging when carrion is around, in this case the dead body of a coot. But neither its legs nor its beak are adapted to feeding on meat, and it'll have serious problems digesting something so large. Each animal has its own techniques. This is an aninga, a type of long-necked cormorant, and it has a little problem. It seems to be offering its catch to the sun, but in fact it is warming up after fishing because its plumage is not completely impermeable. This makes it easier to dive down and swim beneath the surface, but it gets very wet, and from time to time, it has to dry out. And here we have the result. It was worth the dip, even if its body is now dripping wet. But its triumphal march arouses the lowest instincts of the opportunists. The aninga tries to reach a safe place in order to eat its catch before anyone feels tempted to snatch it from him. It is hardly elegant as it emerges from the water, and its problems are not over yet. The fish is stuck, and it will have to gobble it down, scales and all. All this movement by the aninga alerts the most dangerous mouth in these waters. The marsh crocodile can be found throughout much of the Indian subcontinent. Over 4 meters in length, it shelters in holes and eats birds. More than reason enough to make a quick exit when you hear one entering the water. This enormous snout belongs to a close relative of the crocodile and an expert fisher. The gavial can reach up to 6.5 meters in length and is a zoological treasure that lives only in this part of the